This creek here goes down to Goose Creek, and the first part of Goose Creek, or the part where it comes into, there's a lot of rocks and stones down there. But this stone here, this limestone, would be the same stone. If you look at the color, the shape, this is the same stone that would have been temple cornerstones at the Far West Temple. Probably didn't come out of this spot. It probably came out of Shoal Creek, but it would have been the same style. You can tell the look of it. The color is just a little bit different because this has got moss and water that runs all the time. And you can see where the stones are split. Some of them would be already shaped and ready for a cornerstone. I'm not for sure how deep the cornerstones are at the temple site. They could be 3 feet deep. They could be below frost, but just the top side's exposed. So this goes to Goose Creek, and then north on, or west on Goose Creek, there's a lot of big boulders and some bluffs that's really rocky. So part of Caldwell County's got some rock like this, but it's not exposed very often. It's usually in the creeks you see it. You go to Gallatin, the dirt's a little bit thinner, and you do see more. It's more good cattle ground, and you do see some stone that'll be exposed a little bit on some of the hills that the dirt's thin. But anyway, this would be where they'd probably come to these creeks and pick up rocks to build foundations for their houses. It would be a really easy thing just to pull in here and start loading up. You see there's 20 or 30 rocks right there you could lift by hand.
Because the temple would have been only one fixture, but with all the 160-ish homes that were in the area,
yeah,
they would have gotten stones from wherever they live close to.
Yeah, they would have built some kind of, wood would have rotted, so they would have wanted stones to get up off the ground and then put the wood on.
Do you know who lived in this region here?
This was part of the original W.W. Phelps and John Whitmer purchase. And most of everything that's bought a mile from on this side of the temple side, I've noticed, was bought by the church leaders that then were distributed to members in some way. So this could have been, the stuff close to there could have been, a lot of houses, like part of on smaller pieces of land. I do know that the farmers, their land was outside of town. But I was talking to Ernie Burnett the other day that owned this land. He's in his 80s. And he told me that when he used to work the land up there by the temple site, that he would hit stone foundations that would kill his engine on his tractor from his plow. He said he'd pick those stones up and set them in a pile by the temple site at the edge of the field where he didn't have to run over them again. And he said every year, like clockwork, those stones would disappear. He said this was back in the early 70s, late 60s. So tourists, that was before the temple site was there. People would come to town, come out here and want to know. He said he'd knock on his door and ask, where's the temple site at? And he'd kind of direct them over there. But he said he always wished they would go out in the field and get the stones instead of the ones he piled up for him.